Paperboy News here to deliver y'all that daily report. Now, if you guys can recall, a while ago, X4 was on Cam Capone, and X4 explained to Cam Capone the difference between street life and prison. Now, X4 said when he first hit prison, he been had all his gang tests as well as his workouts. But he said he wasn't really tripping because the neighborhoods are the deepest on every yard. Now, X4 said when he came into prison, he had all his gang tests as well as his workouts. But he said if he would have got them while he was in prison, he would have had some problems. And he said as far as his enemies goes, they know how the politics work in prison. So they had an opportunity to either take off on him and deal with the consequences later. But he said some of his enemies were so offended by his whackouts, a lot of them moved out that wing, but he said a lot of them also stayed. Now, due to the street politics, X4 said he never thought that he'd ever be cool with an op, but he said he was shocked that when he was in there, he was cool with a couple of them, to the point he played handball with them. Now, X4 said when he grew up, all he knew was 40 crit, so when it came to his ops, he looked at them as aliens. But he said after getting to know a couple of them while he was in prison, he finally realized that not all Hoovers are bad. And he also said another thing about prison is your worst enemy could be your best friend in there. And he said one of the dudes that braided his hair multiple times while he was in that prison was what he would consider an op in the streets. Now, X4 said when he was in prison, he realized that even though he hates all Hoovers, not all Hoover members are all bad, and some of them are actually cool. And he said the ones that he was cool with, if they so happen to get locked up in LA County jail with him and they land in an enemy's dorm, he gonna make sure that you don't get effed over. And if he so happens to see you in the streets, he won't smoke you. But he said as far as your section as a whole, it's forever F them. And the reason why is because he said on their side, they saying the same thing. But it's just not F you anymore because y'all built a bond in prison. Now, X4 said when he was in LA County jail, he squabbled up with a bunch of enemies inside there. But he said as far as prison, not so much because they're structured differently. And he said if you were to squabble your enemy in there just off a gang affiliation, you're gonna have to deal with 100 other ninjas because prison politics is different from street politics. Now, X4 said you can't just get no eye buster, you actually had to earn those, which is what he did. And he said ever since he got those eye busters, you never gonna catch him lacking or walking. He always gonna be in a eye. Now, the crazy thing about X4's story is he got brothers from Hoover, his mom's from Hoover, his pops as well as his step pops is also from Hoover. But if you guys listen to his old story, before he even joined 40 Crip or even knew what they were, his older brother who was from 74 Hoover, and I'm not sure if X4 said he was walking to the liquor store to the store, but on that day it was a cold day. So his auntie, who's also a big G homie from Rolling 40's crib, gave him her jacket, but that jacket had a glove on it, which represented 40's crib. And X4 said on his way to the store, some Hoovers spotted him and they unalived him, thinking that he was a knob, but he was really one of theirs. And he said aside from the beef that the Hoovers had with the 40's crib, his is different and it's more personal. And the crazy thing about that story is X4 said he looked up to his older brother, and if the Hoovers didn't unalive him, he don't know where he'd be from. But since they did, it's forever F him and it's 40's crib. Now, salutes up to X4 for dropping that solid story, and salutes up to Cam Capone for hosting it. But now that you guys heard what he said, y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in that comment section. It's Paperboy News. Y'all be safe and stay dangerous out there.